You are tuned in to What a Baltimore Online Radio. Please note that the views and the views expressed are of the host and not of Lady J Media. Thank you and enjoy the show. Say that normally on every night around 10:30, I do a show. Everybody, welcome to After Dark with me, DocJ. I'm a little late tonight because a really nice friend of mine bought some food over for me to eat. Oops, let me put my microphone on. That was really nice. So we ate, we had a good time, good conversation, and so now I'm late doing my show, but it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes you got to take time out and you know enjoy yourself. And so that's what I was doing tonight. So y'all, tonight, listen, I'm gonna get right into it because I have a live. I actually have a live a letter that I have from someone. This is real, y'all. This is no joke. Okay, I'm on IG under Lady J Media. If you want to go on IG and look, and then we're on Instagram and also on Facebook right now. But y'all, this is true. Okay, so listen to this. There's a lady. Hey, hey, hey. So a lady reached out. She is actually, because tonight's topic is about cheating. Feel free to chime in if you want to give your opinion on Facebook. You can do that in the comments. You can feel free to do that. If you're on IG, you can feel free. If you want to come on and talk to me on IG, you can. But anyway, guys, this lady is about to get married. She found out from her fiance's coworker that he has been in an affair with the coworker, and the coworker's pregnant. So her question is, should she still get married? Because the marriage is like really probably about a month away. I mean, it's really, really close. So she's trying to figure out, and y'all probably saying, look, the obvious answer is heck no. Why would you marry somebody and you found out that he has impregnated somebody else? But my son asked me that question. He was like, why would she? Hey, Anita Thomas. My son was like, why is that even a question? But the thing is, a lot of times when you love people, if y'all see me looking different places, because I'm on IG and I'm on Instagram. I mean, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. But, a lot of times when you love people, love will make you do crazy things. So, she's actually in a situation right now because she actually loves him. And this is true. Y'all, this is true. I'm not making it up. This is true. She's actually trying to figure out how to tell him that she now knows that he has been in an affair with his coworker, and also that the coworker is now pregnant. And so, in thinking about it, I know from being in relationships that a lot of times you can you can be so caught up and so captivated into the relationship, and then it's just so much stuff going through your mind because at the same time she has wedding plans. She has people that are coming out to the wedding. The invitations have already gone out, the caterer, all of this stuff has been taken care of because, her wedding is about a month away. So, her question is, what should she do? Again, this is true. This is all true. I'm not making it up. Her question is, what should she do? How should she, should she say anything to him? How should she approach him? So she was asking DocJ. So I had to come up with something to help because here's the thing. It may be other people who have found themselves in this situation as well, where they are, in what they used to say, a situation where you're in a situation where something like this has happened and you love the person, But then the question is, do you love them enough to continue on with this? Because now you're talking about the fact that he has impregnated his coworker. They still work together. They still working at the same job, and a baby is about to be born. I don't know how many months she is or anything like that, but now it's going to be a child involved. So you're talking about going into your marriage with a lot of baggage, and it's his baggage. It's his baggage. So now the question is, do you call the wedding off? Y'all can put your comments in there. Do you call the wedding off, or do you um go on with the wedding? So, because sometimes, and I'm looking at it this way, this is how I'm looking at it. I really believe it's a blessing in disguise for her, because what else is this man doing? What else is he doing? Is he seeing, is he not only seeing this woman and also seeing other people? Is he a cheater? Is he a serial cheater? Is this the first time? That's my other question. Is this his first time? Because you know what? I don't think this is the first time that he has done something like that. I don't think so. I think that he has cheated on her before. This is just me speaking now because I don't know. But I think he's probably cheated on her before. And now it's time for the wedding to come. And, he's probably feeling like, we'll deal with it. We'll get through it. Let's just go ahead and get married. And I'm like, pump your brakes. No, it's not. Let's get married, because now you've taken this to a whole nother level. And you knew at the time that we were engaged. He knew he was engaged to somebody. So at what point did you forget that you were engaged to somebody, and you decided, and what was going on in the relationship? That's my other question. What was going on in the relationship that made you feel the need to step out and have sex with somebody else? I don't know how long this thing has been going on, but what was it that made you step out and decide that, did you think the grass was green on the other side? I don't know. So I want to hear what you guys have to say, but I'm going to also be sharing some things with this person. We're going to keep her name and everything confidential and private and all of that. But I'm going to share some information to help her to have that conversation with him, because the last thing you want to do is go into this marriage and act like you don't know what's going on, because now you're cheating yourself. When you do that, you're cheating yourself. You're dismissing all of your feelings and emotions and your pain, and you're basically, wrapped up on what he's doing, and you kind of taking it on yourself, like you're going to just go through the motions, and that's not fair to you. And if you do that, you're setting yourself up for failure. The marriage is not going to work because it's based on a lie. When you're standing up there saying, look, it's been so long since I was married and had to recite those vows, I can't even remember. I should know, because now I can marry people. I'm gonna have to brush up on that. But but the thing is, when you stand before God and before the pastor and everybody, and you start saying, I do, it's a lie, because you already know going into it that something's wrong, and that everything that you're doing right now is actually based on a lie. It's based on something that your fiance, I'm trying to talk without calling her name, it's based on something that your fiance did. He created this craziness, and now you're kind of left holding the bag. And the crazy thing is that y'all still interacting with each other, still having sex, still continuing to plan the wedding and rehearsal time and looking at the event space and all this kind of stuff. And deep down inside that bruh man then got somebody pregnant, that he's going to work every day interacting with this person. It has to really be tearing you apart. And it's not right. It's not right. And so you got to figure out within yourself, and this is something I say every night. Like, when we allow people to do stuff to us, we got to really figure out why that's okay. Why is it okay for you to walk around with this pain? Do you really? I think this is the other thing. I think when you get to a certain age, when you get to my age, listen, you're not walking around with that pain. You're not gonna walk around holding on to that pain. It's just gonna be a wrap. We're done. Because for me, what you're saying to me is that you already made your decision about who you want to be with, um, and you're not really committed to me like I thought you were. And if you really loved me, and I'm using myself in the place of her, but if you really loved me, then you wouldn't be doing this anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it's a lot of stuff that she really needs to definitely look at. And and I know that has to really, really be painful to wake up every day beside this person. Yes, they do live together. I know it has to really be painful every day waking up beside this person, knowing that they have cheated and that they have a baby on the way, and they laying in your face and have not said a word, and still talking about the wedding and I love you and woody woot and all of that. Mm. So I believe, I believe that it's time to make a decision, and it's time to open your mouth and say what's going on. The reason a lot of times people don't say anything is because of I believe in her case, it's fear, it's a whole bunch of things I think that she's feeling right now. And the embarrassment, just the embarrassment. You're like a month out, and just the whole thing of having to I don't know how much money was spent, but having to cut the cancel the wedding, and it's a lot. That's a lot to deal with. But I was saying a few minutes ago, to me, it's a blessing in disguise, because I'm gonna tell you like this: God may be saving you from more pain, even more pain. I don't know um, what more He can do, but I believe that God could be saving you from some really um, crazy pain that this person could bring upon you, because not only is he a cheater, he's a liar. Okay, I hate to talk about your man like that. I'm sorry. But not only is he a cheater, he's a liar, because he is um, stringing you along in this relationship, and he's not being honest with you about what he's done. He's not even telling you that he's done anything. So I really think that it's time for you to use your words and to say what it is. And don't feel bad, because he ain't feel bad when he was doing what he did. So don't feel bad when you come with your questions. You gotta love yourself more. You gotta love yourself enough to say, this you're not going to do this. And again, I think she is in her, I want to say her 30s, maybe mid 30s. And so I think a lot of times, it comes with age where, at my age, if you come with the foolishness, I'm done. It's a wrap, because I'm not going through it anymore. I'm not going through that. So I think that you know sometimes age has a lot to do with it, because when you go through certain things in life, you mess up and you go through the pain and you're covering for somebody else, you realize that, what, this it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. So um let's go through, because I'm trying to keep these lives to like 30 and 45 minutes. So let's go to uh talking about how do you have the conversation. um I'm just pulling up my notes. It's on my other phone, so I'm trying to pull it up in here. I think I had it in my notes. Um, so, um, so I'm going to give you some things and this is for anybody, not just for this young lady, but it's really for anybody. And I'm just going to give you some things to kind of look at, look and listen to me. Okay, no, let me vote with. I'm going to give you some notes to take. I'll put it like that. I'm going to give you some notes to take so you can, be aware of what you may need to do if this situation ever happens to you. And I'm sorry that it's happening to this young lady. So we're going to try to give some information. First thing you want to do is a woosah. Okay. I don't know if she's already done that, but that's the first thing you want to do is you want to do like a woosah. You want to bring it all in because take some deep breaths, breathe in. And just do that a few times. Just breathe in and just slowly release it. You want to do this a few times and just kind of do a woosah because that's a lot to carry. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. Um, and then the big question is, what do you want out of this? Like, do you still want to get married? Do you want to try to work it out? Do you want to postpone the wedding? Maybe go through therapy, or do you just want to get the wrap done with you? I don't want to be bothered. You gotta make a list of questions that you have for yourself. This is not, we're not talking about him right now. This is for you. What questions do you have for yourself? What do you need to know? What is it that you're looking for? What do you want out of this? I know you probably would like to like punch the lights out, on him, and just beat them all in his face. I know that's probably what you want to do, because that's what I would want to do. But we're not going to do that because you got to be real calm. And this is the reason I'm saying this is because you want to make sure that you're together. Because a lot of times when stuff happens and when we're in relationships and they piss us off and we get mad, we get so upset and we going in for the jugular, like we going in for the kill. And we don't think about what we need to say before we go in to have that conversation with that person. And this could be about anything. Um, and so words are said that hurt people. And you start hurting each other and you start name calling and guess what? You never really get to what your intentions were and having that conversation because you're so busy, you've been knocked off kilter and you're so busy trying to do the one up on the other person. So the thing that's most important to do is to get yourself together first. Get yourself together, do your woosah, write down it's almost like you're going into a business meeting. I remember when I used to do a lot of business meetings. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I did so many of them. And it was always because I was in upper level management. And so it was a lot of questions and a lot of, expectations and things that I was trying to get across. So, you got to almost look at things like that. And I even noticed with myself that I'm like that, I'm more like, okay, let me try to figure out what we need to talk about and what I need to say versus going in there like, yelling and screaming. So that's the one thing you want to do. You want to make sure that you go into the conversation where you're good, you're calm because you've asked yourself all these questions and you already know what you want to say. The other person is the one who's sitting there trying to figure out like what the heck is about to happen. But you want to make sure that you work on yourself so much that you're calm when you go in to have this conversation. Okay. Figure out what it is that you really want to know. Okay, so in this case, he got his coworker pregnant. So some questions that I would ask is, when did this all start? Were we engaged? Were we a couple? Were you with her before you got with me? It would just be certain things that I would have written down that I would need to know, um, for myself, my own self satisfaction. Like, I really need to know some details. Again, when you um, are having the conversation and you're not yelling and screaming, and even though, let's say he blurted out, you know, this started while we were together, and this is not the first time, we had sex. You gotta do that woosah real quick, like, don't go off, because when you continue to be calm, you're able to get more information. You're able to get more information. When you start blowing up and acting crazy, that person is going to shut down that you're trying to get the information from. So it's going to be some things that person is going to say to you, and you're going to have to take a real deep breath and do a come to Jesus prayer real quick and just ask God to help you get through it, and you're going to have to listen to what the person is saying. Um, you want to make sure that you find a good place to have the conversation. So let's say, in their case, they don't have any children, so they could do the conversation at home. They probably could do the conversation at home, and I'm pretty sure one of them or both of them may need to go for a walk when it's all said and done. But you can do the conversation at home. You don't want to have the conversation when your friends and family are around, and you just throw it out there. Well, guess what I found out? He over here cheating, and he got a baby. You don't want to do it that way. You want to find a place. Maybe you could go to a park and you could just sit down in the elements, and you can sit down and have this conversation. Um, you know, and don't make yourself responsible for his responses. He may still be lying. He may still be um, uh, um, saying some things that aren't true, or not telling you the whole story. Now, in this lady's case, the coworker actually contacted her to let her know that she's pregnant with child by her fiance. So she's gotten a lot of information and feedback from the coworker. So, make sure you find a spot where you can sit down. Like for me, because I like being outside. I love being outside. So if I had to have that conversation, I would probably say, can we meet at the park? Because I need those elements around me, and I need to feel the breeze blowing past my face and all of that, to keep me calm. So maybe you could find a place that works for you. Where would you like to be? Maybe you might not want to do it at home. Where would you like to go? What do you think would be a calm setting for you, and something that would continue to make you feel calm while you're having this conversation? Um, Now, this is really hard, but we got to do it. You have to try, capital T, capital R, and capital Y. You have to try to listen as much as you can. I know that you are pissed to the high heavens, but you have to try to listen. And you know what? The thing that I've learned in life is that when you allow people to talk, people will tell on themselves. They'll be talking so much that they will tell on themselves. So I've learned to be a listener, an active listener. I want to, and that's with anybody. I've just learned to actively listen, because sometimes people will tell you things and you don't even have to ask a question, because they're so busy talking. They just put it all out there. So you want to be able to provide an atmosphere where your partner is feeling comfortable as well, because remember, they don't know what you're about to say. So you want to make sure you provide that atmosphere. Um, and again, in this case, she actually has proof that, the young lady is pregnant. So I don't know. I'm gonna try to help her tonight with this, and dealing with this. And then, the important thing is that um, you have to then decide, after all is said and done, You have to decide what you want to do. Even after he says, um, he could just, because a lot of times when people cheat, um, I know the couple of ones that I was with, they, after they got caught, they just put everything out there on the table. They threw everybody under the bus. And so, then you have to decide, do I want to continue on with the marriage, which is about a month away? Um, how is this baby going to work into our relationship? We don't even have any children. How's that going to work? There's so many things that you now, after hearing what your partner said, you got to now figure out, okay, so what's going to work for you? You know, um, Sometimes what I will say is that it may be worth, and I know this is hard, but it may be worth going through the embarrassment and shame. And, a lot of times, we may think think out things in the worst way, but a lot of times there are people there who will really support you, help you to get through this. People can't help you if they don't know, but they will, be there to support you and help you to get through this. And, you have to, um, decide within yourself what you want to do. Now the person has told you everything. They've admitted to it. So now what? Now what is it that you want? And that's the question, because you have the power, you know? And that's why I said don't get caught up in his world right now. His world is a mess. It's a messy mess. And shame on you. It's a messy mess doing this girl like that. But thank God they're not married, so she gets to make a decision about whether or not she wants to be with you. As for me and mine, it would be a wrap. And I would wish you well with your new life. Um, so be honest with your partner and how this whole thing has made you feel. They need to bear the weight of the responsibility of what they've put on you, the pain that they have you going through, the embarrassment that you're going to go through once everybody finds out, the stress, the anxiety, the tears. They need to bear some of this weight. So let them know exactly how you feel in this situation. They've caused you pain. They caused you trauma. This is very traumatizing because most girls growing up, we're thinking about, we play house when we're little. We got the little pretend wedding gown and the shoes and all. I had all of that when I was little. And so the ultimate fantasy for a lot of women, I think I was strange because I wasn't really like into all of that wedding stuff because I be counting them dollars. So I was just like, look, we got to feed too many people. So, I was more into managing the money. I think, that's probably because of my background. But you know, I think that at this point in time, like I said, she has to really make a decision about, is it worth going through this wedding with him? You know, what exactly is he going to bring to the table now? A baby? A baby mama? Come on. You do you want to deal with that? You're in your 30s. You're not past baby making age, so you can actually get with somebody else. And you know um listen, you may find somebody even greater. A lot of times, the blessing in all of these things, and I always try to see the good in the situation, is that for all the hell that we go through, a lot of times if you go through it and you really work on yourself and you work to better yourself and to be a better person, God will bring somebody into your life that you don't even expect. He will put that person right in front of you, right around you, and you don't even expect it. So, I think that it's really important to to think about yourself first. Like, how do you feel knowing that your fiance, who you're sleeping beside every night, has another woman pregnant and it's his coworker, and you know in the morning time he's going to get up and go to work, and you still laying in the bed like depressed, like waiting for him to have that conversation with you. He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. So now it's up to you. And I would say go into full mode, full blast, working on you and figuring out what you need to do for you, because you need to get back to your healing. And if he's not ready to be the husband that he promised you he would be because he asked you to marry him, then let him go. It's a lot of men out here. People sometimes people say there's no good men out here, there's nobody out here. But then wait for the one to come along that comes along. Don't just get into something because you feel like this is like the last rodeo. You're 30 something years old. You still can produce babies, children, and who knows, if you leave him, God may send you somebody better. And that's what you have to think about. Hey Shalonda, that's what you have to think about. That he's not the only man out here. He's not the only man. And so be good to yourself. Be good to yourself. And you got to be careful too, because once you go through this situation, um, you got to remember that everything that's happened, him getting somebody else pregnant, um, and not telling you, you're not to blame, because I don't know how the conversation is going to go because you guys haven't had the conversation yet. I'm just answering the question live, but um, sometimes people deflect. He may put it on you that you weren't doing this, you weren't doing that, and this is the thing. Um, she says, "Hey, do you know how long it took me to figure?" She is funny. She is funny. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad you're on. I'm glad you're on. You did it, Shalonda. So, Shalonda actually did a concert tonight, y'all. It was good. So, you know, you have to make sure that as you're going through this process, again, that's why I'm saying work on you. You are not to blame for his behavior. You are not to blame. He chose to do what he did, and you got to accept the fact that it happened. It's unfortunate that it happened because your wedding is in a month, so that's unfortunate, but you are not to blame. He made that decision, and he did it without your consent, without even telling you now that the person is pregnant. So that's on him. You're not to blame. And as I said earlier, when you go into this conversation with him, keep your cool, because you didn't do anything wrong, but you're going into this because you're trying to get some information. You're trying to figure out how you make your next move. And see this is why I say to people, all of this living together, buying a house together or condos or whatever, cars and all these things before you get married. Now she's in a situation because she's yeah, Shalonda said, please remain calm. Absolutely. She's in a situation now where their money is tied together and they're not even married. They have a house. So now she has to figure out, they got to break all of this stuff down. And this is why I say to people, take your time. Stop jumping into stuff so fast. Just in them sheets. Once y'all get in them sheets, it's just like everything goes out the window. And you got to be really, really careful, because now it's not just about the fact that he cheated with the coworker and he got the coworker pregnant and we're supposed to get married next month. Also added into that is that we have a house with our name on it. We have cars with our name on it. We got credit cards with our name on it. So now you got to figure out, it's not going to be a total clean walk away for her, because she has to figure out now, and this is a true story. Like I told you, this is true. She wrote a letter. So now she has to figure out, she got to figure all of that stuff out, and those are things that if she hadn't if they hadn't done that before they got married, and I know a lot of people do it before they get married because they're like, okay, well, we're getting married next month. Let's go ahead and get our house because it does take a while to get approved for a house. So let's go get our house and our car and all that. But you ain't married yet. You ain't married. And this is a perfect example because she's sitting there trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? And it's really unfortunate. Um, the other thing, this is big. This is really big. Don't put your business on social media. All this and I want to give a shout out to her because Shalonda, she's trying to figure that out. And that's what the talk is about tonight because she's trying to figure out whether or not she should go ahead and get married. She's just finding out from the other woman that she is pregnant by her fiance. And the fiance, like I said, a few minutes ago, I know you just came on, but I was telling everybody that, he's coming home every day from work. They sleeping together, having dinner and all kinds of stuff. He's not once said that he has a baby on the way. And he's still with the plans with the wedding. And not knowing that she's really devastated because she now knows that he has a baby on the way with his coworker. So, she has to you're welcome. So she has to really try to figure out what to do because the wedding is next month, and she has to really try to figure this out. So she was just asking a question like, what should she do? um I would the other like I said, I would suggest that, and she hasn't done this, that you not start posting stuff on social media. That only makes things worse. You might want to take a break from social media, get some professional help, and you definitely want to get some counseling and therapy because it's going to be a lot to deal with. It's going to be a lot to unpack. And the best way to do this is to make sure that you have a professional person, um, that you can talk to, that you can bounce your feelings off on. And you may want to talk to the professional person before you even have that conversation with him, you know, because you really want to make sure that you are prepared and that you're strong enough to have the conversation. Because you may feel like I'm strong enough, but girl, he might say one wrong thing and you might punch him right in his face. And so you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you're in a place and you're in a space where you can sit across from him, and whatever he tells you about how this situation transpired, like I said, you do your woosah, you take a deep breath, and you listen. Even if you got to look down, look away, you got to blink them tears out of your eyes. You listen to what they're saying because this is your way of getting the information that you want to know. Um, so Shalonda said, this is devastating, but she must be calm and allow God to help her, allow God to help him see and speak the truth. Lady J, do you recommend medi- mediation? No, I don't. I definitely don't. She said, just keep a mouthful of water and don't swallow. I definitely don't recommend mediation only because they're not married. I would say mediation as far as maybe with the house and, the cars and credit cards, that kind of stuff. But, outside of that, I would recommend that she not marry him, at this point, because like I said earlier, the whole relationship now has just been something that was only real on her end. It was only real to her. It only meant something to her because had it meant something to him, he wouldn't be messing around with his coworker. Like, come on. I had it happen to me where the person I was with cheating with the coworker, having sex in the office with the coworker, just doing all kinds of stuff, and the coworker called me. So I know exactly what she's talking about and how she's feeling. The only difference was I wasn't, planning to get married, but it hurt. I was devastated because when you put your all into a relationship and you're giving 1,000%, and then you find out that the person that you're with is with somebody else, and it's like you didn't even know, you didn't pick it up because they just cool as a cucumber, and you didn't pick anything up. That's the other thing. You just feel stupid. So I actually understand how she feels, and I would just say to her, I gave you all of the different things that you can do to really to really help you in dealing with the having the conversation, because that's the big thing that needs to happen now. That conversation needs to happen sooner than later. Take all of the blame, the guilt, the shame, and everything off of you, because you don't really have anything to feel ashamed about. You don't have anything to feel bad about, embarrassed about, even if you have to cancel the wedding. Don't feel bad about that. Look at it, like I said, look at it as a gift. Because what if you had gotten married next month? What if you go ahead with the wedding, and then you find out after the wedding that he got a baby mama and it's his coworker? So this is a gift. I just look at it as a blessing, as a gift. As much as it may hurt, you got to go through this pain. You got to deal with it, learn from it, go through your pain, and understand that that God will send you somebody sometimes that you totally don't even expect. You like, where did this person come from? And so you gotta go through the process. And you're 30 something. She's in her mid 30s. You got time. You got way more time than I got. I'm in my 50s. You got way more time. You got a lot of time to really, go back and work on you, and prepare for the next man that's going to come in your life and treat you right. Shalonda said, I don't think she should have to handle the consequence of the actions. Definitely not. No, that she shouldn't have to handle any of it. And she said, "Oh, boo, you young, stretch, scratch." So I think that you know, at this point in time, like I said, she has a lot of years in front of her to still be amazing, to still have an amazing life, to have an amazing marriage. And this is going to hurt. I'm not going to say it's not. And, she's hurting right now. She's devastated right now. I think the biggest fear that she has right now, I know the biggest fear she has right now is having that conversation, because sometimes we want to have the conversation, but we really are afraid of what we might hear and what that person might actually say. But as I said, if you follow the steps that I gave to you, it will allow you to really sit there and listen at what the other person is saying. And it's just showing you as well that he's not ready. He's not ready for marriage, and he ain't marriage material right now. Because how you going to have a wedding, walk me down the aisle, take care of me, and in a few months you got to go to labor and delivery for your baby with your coworker? Like, you're not ready. You're not marriage material. Shalana says, skip on out of there, and thank God, thank God. That's what I say, Shalonda. That's what I say. Absolutely, skip, girl. Don't skip. Run. Are you in? Run with an exclamation point. Run and get out of there. And get someone. You can get an attorney to help you as far as your house, and whatever you all, your names are on the house, so whatever you want to do with the house. And again, those are things that you figure out in your game plan. Do you want him out of the house? Do you want to buy him out? Do you want him to buy you out? What about the cars? Both of them are in your names. What about credit cards? So you got to figure all of these things out, because this is the thing that's very important. Once I listen to you and I hear what you're saying, and you explain what you did to me, now I need you to listen to me, because I'm going to tell you what I need from you when it comes to the house. Now, me personally, I need you to buy me out. We can either we can work it out, or we can get an attorney and we can go to court. I need you to buy me out. I would have After I listen to you, I would have all of my demands right there of what I need, because that's not some foolishness that Lady J is gonna go through. I'm just not gonna do it. Heartache is real. Shalonda says heartache is real, but a lifetime of confusion, starting out already, marriage is difficult. Girl, yes. And that's what I'm saying. Don't bring that into your relationship. If he has already impregnated somebody else, bid them adieu, okay? And tell them, have a good life. Let them go ahead and do what they're doing. Because a lot of times, and this is the crazy thing, when I see people who do stuff like this, then they realize, oops, I made a mistake. No, I don't really want her. I don't really want her. That was a mistake. I want to be with you. Well, guess what? It's too late, because you should have thought about that when you laid down with her. You should have been thinking about that because we live together. We have a home together. And you made that decision to lay wherever y'all laid at, and now all of a sudden you madly in love with me. It doesn't work like that. And so I think people have to, you got to get to a place where you really think about yourself. How is this making you feel? How is it making you feel? And what do you, deep down inside, we can talk, and you can think about, you can think about, uh, I want to get married. Oh my goodness, I got my dress. I can't wait to put it on. And you're thinking about the venue and all of that. And you can think about those things. But at the end of the day, what is your gut telling you? What is it that you're feeling deep down inside? What is it saying to you? Because more than likely, your gut is saying to you, let this go, and you got to push past your pain and let him go. That would be my advice. I'm, when I read the question, I was like, wow, okay, we're going to talk about this, but you might not like what I have to say. But that would be my advice to you. And again, don't just take my advice. Go to, even though I am a professional, but you can go to a professional therapist, counselor, and really sit down. And I'm pretty sure they're going to tell you the same thing. It's not healthy to walk down that aisle in your white dress and stand before God and the minister and your family and friends and his family and say, I do. That's not healthy, because you are taking a bunch of mess into your new marriage. And as Shalonda said, marriage is already hard enough. Marriage is hard. I was married for 27 years. Marriage is already hard enough. And then on top of that, I'm going to carry this mess in there. So that's my advice to you. I hope that it helps you. I'm really sorry that you've had to, that you've, that's my son in the background and the dog. I guess they didn't know I was doing a live. But I really hope that I was able to help you and give you some advice as to what you need to do. The most important person right now is you. The most important person in the room is you. The most important person on the planet right now is you. And you have to figure this out. And like I tell my son all the time, he's 25, and sometimes he's like, Mom, such and such happened, blah, 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 blah. I said, you know what? It's called life. It's called life. And sometimes, you go through so many things in life that you learn to flip the script, and you get a different perspective, and you deal with things in a different way. So the younger me, and this is why I wanted to be really clear earlier when I was speaking to her, the younger me would probably be like her. Should I get married or shouldn't? As a matter of fact, guys, let me just be transparent here. Let me just be transparent. I got married when I was 22. And I'm going to tell you everything that happened before. This is the day of the wedding day, the day of the wedding. And I knew probably months into saying I was going to marry my ex, that I should not be getting married. I knew, because we were having some issues, and I just wasn't feeling comfortable, and my gut was telling me, don't do it. This is not good. So, Bible, love you. So the day of the wedding, let me tell you what happened. The day of the wedding, I because at the time, I grew up in my teenage years. I grew up in PA, right outside of Philadelphia. So, and he's from Philly. So that particular day, somebody was supposed to pick up my wedding cake, and they were like, oh, I'm not going to be able to go get it. So I'm like, shoot, I gotta just got my hair done. I gotta get dressed, because I'm coming from Maryland, because I was in college in Maryland, and I drove up to PA for the wedding. On top of that, my mom had gotten sick. So I think she had surgery or something. And so the way the surgery fell, she was like, I'm not going to be able to come to your wedding. And she was so disappointed. My grandmother had a stroke. She couldn't come to the wedding. My aunt had gotten sick and she ended up in the hospital. She couldn't come to the wedding. So these were three women that I'm really close to. And I'm like, if anybody, I really want them to be at the wedding. So anyway, one of the ladies at the church stood in for my mother because my mother couldn't be there. So that was the one thing that happened. The other thing that happened was the cake. Like I said, the person could not go pick up the cake. So I called the bakery and they're like, we can pay for somebody to transport the cake to the church, but that's going to be an extra fee. So I jump in the car and I'm headed over to the bakery. True story. Headed over to the bakery to pay for the cake. On the way, this is on the wedding day. This is hours before the wedding, in the morning time. On the way to the church, my car broke all the way down. Would not start, would not move, would not do anything. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm stranded on this road that looks like it's going to nowhere. And I was so upset. I was like, I'm just going to walk, and that was, I was 22. That was back in the day when we didn't have no cell phones. It wasn't like you had a cell phone and you could reach in your pocket and call somebody. So I couldn't call. Some people had cell phones, but they were so expensive back then that regular people like me, it was like the rich people had them. We didn't have cell phones. I know it's hard for some people to believe, but we didn't have cell phones. So I started walking. Y'all, I kid you not. About 2 or 3 minutes into walking, these dark clouds. I guess God said, what else do I have to do? These dark clouds are just like looming. And I'm looking up and I'm like, what the? So I keep walking, and all of a sudden, the windows of heaven broke. And when I tell you it poured down buckets, my hair, I had just got my hair done. My hair was gone. I was wet, soaked, everything. And I remember it was a gentleman who was driving, and he saw me walking. Now, I normally never get in a car with strangers. That ain't going to happen. But I was so frustrated. And so at the point of, I don't give a, what, he pulled over. He said, ma'am, are you okay? And I said, no. I said, I'm supposed to be getting married today, and I'm just da-da-da-da-da. He said, get in. So when I got in the car, he said, where are you going? And I told him. He took me to the bakery. I paid for the cake to be transported to the church. Then I called my dad, and I was telling him what was going on. So he came and got me. Then we had to call a tow truck to get the car towed. So now I already know I'm going to be about an hour late for the wedding. So what I did was, instead of getting all pretty and glammed up at the house, I didn't even worry about makeup or anything. I grabbed my dress, went down to the church. By the time I got there, everybody's waiting. It's time for me to just put my dress on, my veil, and keep it moving. And all I could do at that point was just brush my hair back. Just brush it back. on my wedding day. Just brush it back, put the veil on, go down the aisle. As I'm walking down the aisle, no lie, as I'm walking down the aisle, I'm thinking, I need to turn around. I'm too young. I'm 22. We had some issues, and I think he was 24. I think, but I was just saying to myself, I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do this. And so, anyway, guys, as you know, I walked down the aisle and I got married at age 22. And at one point, the choir, because I you all know that I sing, so I'm with the choir. My choir is there. He came all the way from Maryland up there to sing, and they're up there singing, and I'm crying, and I'm not crying because I am, happy. I'm crying because I'm realizing I'm making a huge mistake right now in getting married. But I went ahead and I got married because I didn't want to embarrass my family, didn't want to embarrass myself, and I was just like, you know what? Let me just go ahead. Let me just go ahead and do this. And as a result of doing that, I stayed married for 27 years. And guess what? I'm divorced. I'm sitting here divorced as of 2013, sitting here by myself, because it's just some things that your gut tells you not to do. And we go ahead and we do it anyway. So I was just telling that story so the young lady could hear that I'm a real person. I went through those emotions and feelings of, listen, I shouldn't do this, but I did it anyway. And I want to save you some heartache. Don't do it. So, hey, Shalonda.
Hey.
You made it. You got on.
I'm figuring these things out. You know I didn't mean to do this.
Oh my goodness. So yeah. So I thought you wanted to say something.
No. I'm enjoying it. I don't know how to get back there.
Oh, okay. So you weren't trying to come on. Okay. So you can. I think you can just go out. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think you can just go out on your camera. I'm almost done anyway. There you go. So I just wanted to share that story with you because I want you to know that a lot of times we go through stuff and we feel like we are just the dumbest people in the world, because we allowed certain things to happen. But I want you to understand that she said, sorry, don't be done. We come on every night, Shalonda. We come on every night. So I only have about 4 minutes left. Yep, I got 3 minutes now. I'm looking at the clock. I got 3 minutes left, but it'll be up, so you can go back and look at it. It'll stay up. But I just wanted to share with you. And again, I am so sorry that you are going through this situation of being in your 30s and really looking forward to wedding day. That probably won't happen. And I'm really, really so sorry that you have to go through it. But again, things happen in life, and you take this as a lesson. You just take it as a lesson, and you grow from it. That's all you can do. Like I said, I got married at 22, stayed married for 27 years. And when I look back at all of the stuff that we went through together, we were just too young to get married. We were too young, and we were growing in the marriage. Like we were growing up in the marriage, and and again, so here I sit, by myself. I'm here by myself, divorced. And that was the last thing, nobody wants to have that letter D. That was the last thing I wanted, is to be divorced. And, here I am. I never wanted to have my name, because now I have my maiden name. I never wanted to walk around and I have one name, my child has another name, but it is what it is, And so I've had to learn to live with it, with the embarrassment, with the shame. A lot of times we put a lot of stuff on ourselves that we don't need to take on. Things happen in life. They just happen, And so I just want to say to you in closing, please take to heart everything that I said. I don't know who you are. I just read your letter, but please take to heart everything that I said, and know that I'm so sorry for what you're going through. But what I will say to you and what I've said, throughout the evening, you're still young. You're still young. So you got so much life ahead of you, and that's exciting that you have so much life ahead of you that you can meet somebody really nice. You can still have children, you know, you can still do a whole bunch of things. And so be excited about that. Be excited about the fact that you found this out before you said I did. So now you just got to figure out the other stuff with the house, and that'll be easy. It's difficult to get divorced depending on where you live at. In Maryland, by the time you get divorced, you are shouting hallelujah because they put you through the ringer when you try to get divorced. It's hard. It's really hard in Maryland to get a divorce. So, depending on where you are, I don't know what state you live in. Just be happy that you don't have to go through that process. You don't have to go through thinking about anything about divorce. You guys are just down to material stuff and what you need to do. And then understand also that if somebody really, really loves you and they truly care for you, they're always going to be trying to figure out what they can do to make you happy. What can they do, to make sure they have your best interest at heart. They're not going to be out here hurting you, and so that's the thing that you always remember. Always remember, if they love you, if they truly, truly love you, they're going to do all that they can to make you happy. Not saying that your relationship is going to be perfect, because no relationship is. You're going to have your little squabbles and disappointments, but you squash it and you move on. In this case, there's been cheating, there's been secrecy, there's been lying. There are so many different elements that have gone on in this relationship. And at this point in time, my advice to you is to call it quits. Just say it's a wrap. And then look at your beautiful self in the mirror and know that things will get better, things will work out, and just continue to do the work that you need to do on you. And you will attract someone who will be totally different from the person that you're with now, who may give you an even greater life. And so I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight as we dealt with this situation. This is something else. I tell you. I tell you. Listen, y'all, if you're not ready to get married, don't be asking people to marry you and fiance and living together and all this. Just stop that. Stop doing that. You're dealing with people's feelings, their emotions, and who knows how far you can push people over the edge by just doing stupid stuff. If you don't want to be in a committed relationship, say it. My goodness, like I say this almost every night. Just say it. I listen. I listen. Okay, just say I just want to sleep with you. I just want to have sex with you. I just want to get you under the sheets. I just want to get in between your legs. Just say whatever it is that you want to do. But to take somebody through an emotional roller coaster, that's wrong. That's wrong. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Karma is real. Okay? Karma, karma, it's real. And it's I always say Karma Cafe, you will find yourself sitting at that table at Karma Cafe when you keep messing with people and their emotional health and well-being. You're gonna find yourself sitting at the table at Karma Cafe because, like, and we say it all the time: what goes around comes around, and when it comes around, it's gonna hit you in the face with a vengeance. So be careful what you dish out to people because it could come back to you twofold, threefold, tenfold. You never know. Be very careful at how you treat people. Very careful. Very, very careful. So you guys have a great, great night. Thank you to the ones who came on IG, on Facebook, on YouTube, on what's the other one? We're on Twitter, on the radio. I thank everyone. I know it's late tonight. Ran a little late because, like I said, a friend of mine stopped by and we had dinner, and it was really nice, to sit and talk. So we started a little late tonight. Normally we come on at 10:30. If you have any questions that you would like for Dr. J to answer, please feel free. You can send them to Lady J, WUB. That's for What Up Baltimore. Lady J, WUB at gmail.com. And you can send your questions there. I will not mention your name, as you see tonight. I didn't mention any names, any city, states, none of that. Nobody knows who we were talking about tonight. So everything is kept confidential. Again, if you need to sit down and talk to someone, that's my background. I will be glad to sit down and talk with you. If you're having an event and you need me to come and speak, I'll be glad to do that as well. You can also reach me at 443-297-4753, 443-297-4753. Tomorrow we have some really great shows coming up. Make sure you tune in to WUBO Radio. Tomorrow night's show we have Mr. Uh, no. I'm sorry. John was on tonight. I got my days mixed up. Tomorrow's Thursday. We have a new show starting tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. So make sure you tune in to that show. And it's going to be with Anika and Otis. And so make sure you tune into their show. And then we have Ava. She's just so sweet. I love her voice. She's so sweet. She comes on at 7 o'clock and she does spit and paint and spit. One of them, I may have it wrong, but she paints and she will spit bars and verses. And so, just tune in. We're on IG. You can go to Lady J Media on IG. If you go to Facebook, you can go to What Up Baltimore Online Radio. If you go to YouTube, you can go to What Up Baltimore TV. And actually, everything is in the description. So, guys, have a great night. Be blessed. And to my dear sweet sister, please, please, please heed to my advice. Don't walk down that aisle. Please, I beg you, do not walk down that aisle. Things will get better. Just do the things that I've shared with you, and make sure you go to therapy to get some help to work with you as you go through this process of healing. Okay? Everybody have a great night. I am DocJ, and I am out of here with my fingers in the way of the camera. I'm out of here. Peace and blessings to you, Shalonda. Love you.